All right, thank you, everyone. So welcome to this session of Supercharge Copilot Advanced Prompting for Max Productivity. So this is an intermediate session. So we are here. Hi, welcome. Please take a seat. You can also sign in whenever you do have a moment. So we are here assuming that you do have some basic knowledge, but please don't be afraid to ask whatever questions that you have here in person. You can raise your hand. Do let me know what questions you do have. Same thing for people that are online. Send whatever questions that you do have in the Q&A pane. I do have my colleague Anna that will be going through the Q&A all session long and answering all the questions that you do have. Hi, everyone. My name is Marcella. I'm a training specialist. I've joined Alethea, a Microsoft certified partner 3 years ago, and I'm French Canadian. Now, after today's session, you should be able to use Copilot to convert handwritten notes into files, use Copilot to collate and extract data from files and the web, tell Copilot how to structure your data, create and use a Copilot notebook, and use the built-in agents. So a lot to cover today. So hopefully you're excited. You can follow along, try some prompts, or just take a look at what I'm doing. Whatever you wish to do, you're more than welcome to follow along. If you haven't opted in for Copilot, if you don't have a license yet, my colleague Anna will share the link through the Q&A as well, and I will be having a QR code today during this session. We also have it already in a little frame in the session. If you're in person, you can scan that as well. We have Copilot that is very helpful for productivity. It can save you a lot of minutes, different tasks. We will be going through some of those tasks today. So let's get started. All right. Now, let's go to my other screen. Here we are. All right, so Copilot Copilot chat, and we are mainly going to go through Copilot chat today. So I am right now in my homepage of Microsoft 365 in my browser. Again, we do have this Copilot chat available in the left navigation pane of Outlook and Teams as well. Right now, I am working, and I'll be working in the Work tab. So if you don't see your Work and Web tab in your Microsoft Copilot chat, that means you do not have your license yet. So you can request that to the IT department through the link that Anna will be sharing in the Q&A and in the QR code that I'll be sharing here today as well. So yes, Copilot can answer questions for sure, but you can also get a more detailed search. It's more than just a detailed search engine. We're going to see some few things such as working with handwriting. So if you're still work with information on paper, Copilot can convert your notes into Office files. So for example, let's get a file that I have here ready for me so I can show you what I have here as handwritten information. Give me 1 sec that I'm going to bring this to my other screen. So some people do like still writing with their hands, right? For sure. I am one of these people. Do take notes handwritten. Now, let me get this because I did have set up this in a different place. Handwritten. Let me get that here. I'm just sorry for making you wait. We had some setting things that were slowing me earlier today. Okay, apologies, bringing that to my screen right now. So what do I have here that I want to convert? Let me show you the notes that I have here. I took a picture of that, and now this is a JPEG file. Here, there you are. Okay, so now this handwriting is a bit messy, right? It's a mixture of print and cursive, and it's purple in addition to that. There's shadow over the text because I took a picture of that with my phone. It's not scanned. So I just photographed that and emailed. It's not ideal. It's just the real life scenario that a lot of people will be working with. So what I can do with this, let's close this. I'm gonna bring this to Copilot in the prompt box. I'm gonna drag and drop this JPEG file. There you go, my notes are there. And then I'm gonna write my prompt and request to, let's put that right over here, convert this to a Word document. I'm gonna send that. So Copilot's gonna analyze this information. It's gonna give me a Word file as requested. As soon as it has finished going through this, we can see that this is working on it because I can stop it. There you go. And conversions to Word is completed. Let's take a look to this conversation. Still showing up. There you go. So here's the analysis. Let's open my new Word document and see what shows up.
There's an optical character recognition module
It is,
to read out the text.
yes. Now you will note that looks like I'm opening this and just gonna take a moment. Opening this through the desktop. It's not gonna include, well, we'll see what's gonna include it. I'm gonna put it in side to side with my image. Bringing that back on. All right, so let's resize this with my Word file here. And my Word file is in here. So it did recognize that this Office Depot, it was not part of my written information. I got the introduction in here. Looks quite similar of everything that I have. It is not 100% perfect. You do have to review your information, the information that Copilot extracted, but it did quite a decent job here. I can see as artificial intelligence weaves, and that's exactly how it started. It got great information out. Again, you will see that, well, I feel like this handwritten, it's a bit messy. It is still going to put it as accurate as possible. Again, it is not perfect. You always have to view, but it's still a far better job than having to type it yourself. It's going to save you a lot of time. It's going to, depending the amount of text that you do have, you can, be saving a lot of minutes into this. And then great way to review your notes as well. If you're, in the knowledge process of learning new items, this is going to give you a great starting point. So this is a great thing to do with Copilot Business Chat. Now that was my first example. We do have other types of examples. Now that was for a picture with handwritten information. And now let's check out how we can work as well. Again, with handwritten information, let me give you the first example that I have. I have here some numbers that were written here. This is what I've written on my pad. Here, this is not another suboptimal list, right? I'm still working with my purple ink. Some numbers are on the lines and some were above the lines. The tablets, if do have some, it's readable, but could be a bit messy for some people. And well, we do have the sevens that are across. So let's check out how Copilot can interpret that. I'm going to put that again to my prompt box. Let's drag and drop. It's just as simple of dragging and dropping this information. There you go. Well, my file. And then I'm going to put this. My prompt will be reading as add these numbers to an Excel file. Now, of course, this was a very small sample. Most of the people will be using a longer list. Just wanted to have something ready to show you what we have here, but Copilot is capable of interpreting this information and directly put it in an Excel file. So let's download this file and let's check out how that shows up. Now, as we can see, it is also using the same title name than the JPEG file that I was showing up. Now, it's just taking a moment to open, but let's put that side to side again. And let's make sure I click that correctly. Okay, it is opening. So let's bring that in here. Let's bring the other, no, that's one, the other one. We can close this. Let's get that image back on. And here again. All right. Now it won't have any problems with this. Here we go. Let's put it here. Let's have the other image showing up. Now it recognized very well my numbers and it added a heading to this as well, right? Now it gives the file the appropriate name. It adds appropriate headers that weren't in the image. We didn't have a header in here. And it converted the numbers with K after the numbers in the thousands. So now, if I want to add data to a file, I could also be doing that. There are some limitations as well, but let's say that I already have an existing file and I want to have additional items added to that. All right, so this is closed. So let's have these. I do have, let me show you what I have here. I have a file already called items. All right, let's see what I have. All right, so actually I'm gonna have this file, right? And I do have other items that I wish to add to this. Let me show you again. This is handwritten. Let's have that image show up. Now I have these additional files that I wish to add. So we have 5 new items that I wish to add to this list, existing list. So let's close this and let's request and see how that works. So let's put this first in here. It's in there now, and we are here in this example going to show some limitations as well and show you how we can work around all of this. Now, if I put here, add the items in the image to, so I'm going to reference the file where I want to add this item. So I'm going to go with slash, and it was called items here. So here's what happens. We have a support error. So right now I cannot have this image in addition to the reference of my file. So what can we do? So let's have these items first converted and then add those to my file. So let's create a table for these items. I'm going to start by creating these. And then once that table is created, we'll be requesting on a second step to add those new items into the file that I wish to reference that is already existing in my OneDrive. So here's my new table. And then let's go with my second step. Add these items to, and let's go with the reference, slash items. I have to scroll to see my suggestions. Slash items. Okay, it's showing at the bottom. See, it's just hitting a bit. Let's just get that link. So sometimes, you know, the suggested list is hidden. So let's just copy the link. That's another way to reference files. If you already have that available to you, that works, of course, only with OneDrive and SharePoint. You can just send and copy and paste that link. It's going to recognize your file. Huh? It's the same thing that then putting the slash, add these files to, and then my file is referenced. So what's going to happen here? Now, at this moment, Copilot cannot modify my existing file with this request. So it's going to create a new file, and then I'll have everything in my updated list. So yes, I do have a new version here, that's for sure. And it is not going to keep the same format, meaning the same colors, table style. However, I do have all my files available, all my items available to me. Let's give it a second to open. So I went from this. Give it a sec. I went from this. I converted these to a table within Copilot chat. It converted that through a table, and then I asked it to add it with my existing items. This is what I have now. I have my full list. These are the 5 last items that were requested. I have all the information here. Now, of course, again, it's a new file. Yes, it doesn't keep the same format as the previous one, but it is a very good time saver when we do have that information handwritten. All right. Now, let's talk now about converting drawings. Now, whatever image creation Copilot does, it does take a moment. So let's just start a new chat so we don't confuse Copilot in here. So if you do have a chart or perhaps a scientific image, Copilot will do its best to convert it. It does a fairly well with organizational charts and other objects with clear outlines. Let's have my first example. Let me show you what I'm going to try to convert here. It's a molecule. I'm getting this image. So I have this image that I wish Copilot to convert, right? So let's close this. Let's put it in my prompt box. Let's drag and drop. Let's put my prompt. And let me read that to you. So here I have, convert this to a 3D molecular image. Now, whatever image creation that's going to request, that's with Copilot chat, but that's also the same case with PowerPoint. When you are requesting a new image creation, it does take longer, right? It needs more resources. So it's going to take a moment to give me a result. Now, in the meantime, we can take a look at what will be my next example, if you wish so, because otherwise we'll be here just waiting to see how long this is gonna take. You can be doing multiple things at a time. That's the great thing of having Copilot in the web. You do have a tab, you have additional tabs that you can be working on in the same time, or you can go get yourself a coffee as well. Now, let's get back this image that I'm requested to convert. This is the image requested. Now note that this is on a paper with lines. Perhaps not the best idea. I will be doing another example right after I have the result with my online image without any lines. So we're going to compare the differences of the results. As we can see, it's almost done. It's adding final touches. So that's also a nice thing of Copilot, that is giving us the reasoning, the steps we're seeing, where this is at the moment. And we'll see, we still already have a little preview. So I requested the 3D image. Perhaps that was also a higher request. Maybe a 2D image would have been more quick, but why not aim high? So
tell Copilot, hey, I'm writing it on line paper to disregard the lines.
We could be requesting that, but it's still, again, you can test. It might not recognize which lines to disregard and which one to keep, right? Because you might have other lines in your drawing.
You can tell colors, perfectly straight lines printed.
It will try to do its best job. It is not 100% perfect, and we're gonna see that in here. It's gonna have a very great get a very great basic point. And here we go. We're almost here. There you go. This is the result that I had. And in comparison to the image that I shared, this is what I had. So this is the result that I had. Copilot is converting my images. And now if I do a second request with the unlined, we will be having a different result. So let's do that right now. And we're gonna do a follow-up request with colors to have Copilot change colors of the image so it interprets that as the best as it can. So let's drag and drop this. Let me find that image. All right, so here's the image. Let's drag and drop this. Now you'll notice when you're using JPEG images, you can definitely have those in your OneDrive or SharePoint, use the slash and reference them. I've been doing different tests. I feel like dragging and dropping and actually uploading it does a better result. But again, you are more than welcome to try and see what works the best on your side. And Copilot is always evolving, so it's always going to get better. You always have new releases as well. See, I'm using here the exact same prompt, convert this into a 3D molecular image. So again, I'm going to take a moment and wait to see that image. I will be having a slightly different result from my past tests. Since the image is clearer, the result is better. So if you have been attending other sessions, we've been always saying that the best the prompt, and the better the prompt, the better the outcome. And that is applicable for images as well. But again, we can always do some follow-up requests with images. So it's going to take the first result and transform it with whatever request that we do as the follow-up prompt as well. Now, in the meantime, let's go to another tab and still take a look at that past image that we got and see what type of file that created. Let's give it a moment. And then we can always go back to our conversations. In the left navigation pane, see we do have conversations that we can expand. Those are the most recent, obviously, but know that you can always go to all conversations to see the full list. So let's go to the 3D molecular image. That was the very first request. And you can, at any time, click on your image and request to download this. And that is going to give me, this is a GIF type of image. I can request also to convert the type of file that it's creating. Now here so far we have the first view, the preview of my second request, the image without lines. It's quite looking not too far from my first results, of course, but this should be a clearer image. Let's compare this one to this one. And you'll notice if you do try the same prompt, still in Copilot, you can have a different result. And why is that? Because you can have more than one good answer, right? That is, and there is indeed some randomness as well in the algorithm, like any generative AIs. Okay, so I got this in here, and then we're gonna ask to adjust this. I could ask to condense the hydrogen atoms to CH3 molecules. We can ask it to provide it a label version. We can ask it to make the different atoms in a different color. So perhaps let's try just to first, I'm not gonna do all of this request because it's gonna take a moment. So provide a labeled version. Okay. So if you're already happy with this version and it is accurate and that you can use it, then you can still, follow up. And here, oh, well, looks like it went through my files and it actually created one. Let's just rework on this prompt. Provide a label version. I'm gonna put create. Sometimes to action verb, create a labeled version of the image. Right, let's readjust this prompt to create a labeled version.
It's specified which version of it, what image.
All right, once I have the image, I'll generate the, oh yeah. All right, I could do that. All right, I could use, let's download this and see the file extension to see how that works. I have this GFIF, and here well, we have to adjust the different prompts. If we take a look again to the request so far, I have this requested to the molecular image. I have the image. Looks like Copilot understood that is a molecular image of caffeine. And it gave me some explanation. And then looks like I didn't capture well my request. So I can just keep going here. Let's just try that differently. I'm going to provide the image that I just downloaded.
Why do you have to download it? Can't you just say the image you generated, please provide label image with the name of the elements? Can you tell that in a prompt?
Let's try that. We can definitely try that. It should have recognized it indeed that I was talking about that image. Let's have this downloaded. Let's have it back. And the image you created from the first request, adjust it with labels. Okay, so I am in the actual conversation. It's not showing, so perhaps still loading. I can request that from here. Let's do it with this one. The labels for the molecules. So here, requesting to adjust the image. Now, the prompt structure is, of course, something that Copilot will take into consideration. Perhaps the previous example, I wasn't specific enough, though it did work in a previous test. Otherwise, I wouldn't be presenting this to you, but we always learning.
Pitfalls of AI.
It does a pretty decent job, so and it's just gonna get better. So that's the good news. Even more, with this type of image creation that we're being very specific in this type of an environment for chemistry, you must be using a, specifics so you can share that with your students, or, if you can just use it in your papers. Maybe you're doing a blog as well and sharing this in a blog. So
how do you understand in all the different disciplines of academia use the same words in different contexts? How does Gen AI understand the context of using the same word?
Okay.
Unless it kind of figures out the flow.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Great question. I'm going to repeat the question for the people online. So here the question is, how does Copilot understand the context? Because we use the same words in different fields of the academia. So you must provide the context. That's the short answer. You must provide the context to Copilot so it understands it. Otherwise, it's going to be generic. It will do its best. Though, if you're using the work tab, it does have access to your profile of Microsoft. Your title is going to check out that you're part of whatever department that you're part. So if you take a look, I'm going to pause on this example and keep going with your question. At the top right, here you do have your settings. In your settings, I have here the personalization section. Now, first of all, custom instructions, you can indicate here that you work in a specific field, in a specific department, and always to use that as a context. So that will be staying here in the instructions. So we want to make sure that it's going to always be taking this into consideration. That's one thing. And then you do have also Copilot memory. Now, this is the work profile that I'm talking to you about. When you do have your identification card, your profile card, let me see if I can share that. Your profile card. For example, when I go to view my account and I have all my information of my organization, my job title, my department, to whom I report, who are part of my team, all of that information, right? In my overview. Now, I don't have a lot of information here because I do have it is a demo account. If I go to, if I have, my information of organization and stuff, right? All of that, it's this one, will be considered with the memory of Copilot. So that's also taken into consideration. And from accessing your data as well, it has been seeing which project you're working on. If you're mainly working with the law department, well, it will know that context-wise, it's focused on that. But you can still keep going and add additional instructions and memory. If you go in Copilot chat and put, save into memory that I prefer answers with bulleted lists, just as like did in here, you can save that on and on to make sure that you always get the preferred type of answers from Copilot. Going back here to my request of having my image adjusted with labels, here's my second version. Now, again, you do have to verify the accuracy, right? But know that this is Copilot so far can interpret, handwriting, numbers, images, and of course, it's not always 100% accurate. So you always have the responsibility to double check and adjust what Copilot provides you. All right. Now, going back to starting a new conversation, and please feel free to ask any other questions. Be happy to help you out if you have any questions about what I showed you about the memories as well. It's quite new. It's just being available from the past weeks. And if you're wondering how can I save something in the memory, for example, here, save in the memory that I always want answers in the context of law enforcement, right? Example, very generic example. That's what I had in mind. I'm very creative right now. So what's gonna do here, I should be having a little memory updated in here. And then when I have this information, I can go to manage my memory. So it's going to bring me my full list of everything that has been saved. And here I do have the confirmation that got it. I have that saved for you. I'm going to go there and delete this. Otherwise, I will have some funny answers out of this request. So it's this one that I want to delete. And as you can see, can delete them all at once. You can just turn it off for a moment if you just, don't want to delete it, and just pause it for a moment. All right, let's remove this. No, not an enforcement. I do like bullet list though. All right. Let's keep going. Let's check out how we can find information locally and on the web. So now I'm starting a new chat, right? I've been saying that in the previous sessions, it's always better, and strongly suggested to always start a new chat when you switch topics. You don't want to confuse Copilot with previous conversations. It does take the full conversation into context in order to answer your next prompts. Okay, so here I want to look up for information from a specific person. I could be doing that. When you're looking for information, Copilot does have some limitations, so you want to be specific. So for example, I do have a colleague with whom I've been working, and she's been helping me a lot, and I had to pause on that project because somebody needed me in a different one. So I want to know, what has Sam Daniels done with Project Alpha in the last 3 months? And of course, I am still in the work tab because it does have to go through the different files that I do have access. Now, I do have access to files, to events, my meetings, chats, channels, everything that Microsoft has on me. It's going to go through that. So it's not going to go through Sam Daniels' account, right? It's going to go through whatever I already have that is shared with her. So the privacy is still respected. There's no breach of data protection. I already have access to everything that Copilot is sharing here with me, because when we have authored and modified and shared these different projects, files, chats with where I'm already in the group chat. So this is a great way to, keep in touch, to know what has been happening if I've been away. So for this example, the sources that were used are team chats, notebooks. Let's expand this and check out Excel files, and then other projects that we have in common in here. So now, if I want to get some information from files, I've been also talking about that in other sessions, and I've been showing some examples in here. For example, if I want to have key points from, give me key points from, I have here my slash. I do have my file that is available in my OneDrive. There you go. This is the one. Give me the key points of this one. There you go. Here again, it already has access to that information. This is a basic prompt. If I'm looking for something more specific, I could have put it in my very first prompt, but I can also do it in a follow-up prompt. Perhaps I just wanted an overview, and then I can go deeper in one of these points. If I want to have something from the web as well, let's go to the web. Let's say that I'm looking for information. I want to make sure that Copilot doesn't take into consideration things that I do have in my Microsoft account. Maybe I'm looking for Brainstorm. Maybe I'm looking for something else. So I'm going to the web part of this to extract some pertinent information. So let's go and put my prompt in here. Let's say that I'm working on some AI projects, and I just need to have a little brainstorm so I can get started. So here I'm asking, what are the key issues facing the adoptions and use of AI currently? So what Copilot does, it does do a Bing search indeed. It's going to give me the highlights of what it has as results. Of course, it's going to give me the sources, and I do need to go check out the sources to see if that indeed is something that is credible, that I do want to use. I want to double check if Copilot interpreted that information well as well. So here I have a few points. I have 5 major points. As we can see, numbers next to each bullet point, my full list of sources at the bottom. So if I take a look at one of these sources, let's go to the first one. Opens up in a new tab. So what is this? Is the Georgetown Center of Security and Emerging Technology. I'll double check if that's a source that I would normally use. right? You working or studying in the university know how to check accurately sources, see though if those are credible and if they're usable. It's this one. And then I do have my first starting point for my brainstorm. And I just want to keep going. You know what? This is a good list, but what are the top 2 issues? Let's just talk about those 2 top issues. So it's gonna do that for me. I'm gonna get that information based out of my previous question. So that's why I don't have any sources here. It's the same information from above. And then what I can ask is to put this, right, into a PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to ask this. I could do multiple things. I can ask to have this in a Word file and then use this Word file. And then my second step is asking PowerPoint to create a presentation based out of that Word file. I can ask here just to directly put it into PowerPoint presentations. And here I'm putting a context aimed at college admins to convince them to educate their students on these issues. Different ways of working. Once you get your hands on this, you'll see what works the best, what is giving you the best result. Here, I'll just have a basic PowerPoint. Why is that? Because it's Copilot chat. So I'll have, no template used, no theme, but I'll have those points in those slides. My personal preference would be perhaps ask it to extract it in a Word file and then go into my PowerPoint app and ask Copilot then to create a presentation. Just has a nicer view. It's just more eye-catching. But depending what you're trying to do in here, right? You just wanted to point out what Copilot Business Chat can do.
At the bottom, it has visuals, not at visuals. So that's one thing that I just put some feedback on. It's very annoying. I iterated like 4 times again,
Yeah.
asking me, do you want me to add visuals?
Exactly.
Then it cannot.
So here for the people that were online, I have some feedback that with Copilot chat, it is suggesting you if you want to add visuals and you'd say yes, but it didn't. Now, if you were working directly in Copilot in PowerPoint, when you do request some visuals, it will be doing that for you. So perhaps the follow-ups could be done directly in PowerPoint. So in the home ribbon, I do have to save this on my on the cloud, right? So either OneDrive or the SharePoint, and then this will be enabled. And then I'll be able just to send my prompt as add an image, and then I describe an image. And here we are again with the prompting. Add an image in PowerPoint. We'll go to Microsoft 365 library, and it's going to find an image that corresponds to your request, the keywords that has in the image description. And then if you want an original AI image creation, you do use the keyword create an image. That's going to create you something original. Yes, so I could do that demonstration. Let's see. I could do that. So I'm gonna just enable this. It was just in productive view. I believe now I'll be able to use Copilot. Here we go. Copilot. And then I'm gonna ask about data quality. Okay, so it's gonna use a simple description of image. So here, you must be already in your, well, of course, you will be able to change your image from one slide to another, but let's say I want to add it here. I could ask here, if I go with add an image, again, we'll go to my content, but we can ask create an image of AI systems and data quality. Okay, I have no idea what the result that's gonna get me because that's quite a request. How is that supposed to look like? Unsure. So the designer, right? Because again, the keyword was create. It's the designer that shows up. I could have just asked to add and be like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. Maybe you want something original. And you can be very specific in your request, maybe a style of image. You'll be sending that, retro, just black and white. AI, you could have requested some humans in the image. Maybe you are using some theme colors, put in those as well. Oh, well, that is maybe my request wasn't as fun to have a fun result, right? It was a very generic request. Again, my result equals my prompt. I could have done something more fun, AI and robots and humans. There you go. All right. Yes. So Copilot in PowerPoint is very, very fun to use, very interesting. Yes, and then I have my option to insert it whenever it's finished generating, and it's going to be used as a regular image. So it's still working on it. So I select this, I insert this. If I were to have a placeholder, it would go to the placeholder. Now it's just a regular image. And as usual, we have our design suggestions that allows me to select, oh, this is nicer, to adjust this to have a more eye-catching and nicer view. My pleasure. All right. Okay, now we still have some time, so let's check out how we can use Copilot chat. Let's go back to work. Let's go to, new chat, that's perfect. And now I want to extract information from multiple files. Now that's something that I can do. I can use Copilot and reference multiple files at a time and have it analyze those. So just keep in mind that the longer the files are, right, the longer it's going to take Copilot to process the request. So what I'm going to do is, let's have this next to each other because I do want to reference multiple files and I do not recall their names. So let's put it next to each other. I do have all of these files, student papers in here. So I'm going to just copy these. It's the quickest way, at least for me, to reference multiple things at once. One after the other, copy. Perfect. And then here, copy. Paste. And let's do one last one. Up, copy. Perfect. And then I'm going to add my prompt. There we go. And here, my next step would be putting my prompt. And I could have continued. I already did this test with all of these files at once. So my prompt is, given these files, what is the main conclusion to be drawn about what students are researching? So just had some student papers in here. So it's gonna indeed go into it and go through the content, analyze that, and identify some trends. All right, let's expand this. All right, so here, based on the documents that I provided, they're researching how the late 19th century literature and art reflect deeper culture, psychology, and ideology. So somebody loved literature, and then they had those multiple papers that were provided. And, rather than go through all of these, just wanted to have, let's just have my very first step so I can be ready to go through the rest of my tasks, have a little idea what are they researching, just a little summary, rather than go through the totality of each of these. Lastly, I can use as well Copilot. Let's go to.
Before that, is there a nifty way for professors to say, how can I tell if the students are plagiarizing and colluding using AI to get these papers last minute on Sunday night for the month?
Well, you can always, of course, you can try, but Copilot if you have it, you can reference those files on Copilot work tab. So the question is going to repeat it for the people online is asking if professors can ask if there is any plagiarism or collating some information when the students are giving their papers. It's gonna try to do the work, Copilot. Now, it hasn't been conclusive that it's gonna confirm that if yes or no, that was plagiarism or not. They're not there yet. What you can do, reference from the work here, reference the file, and then you can ask to search the web to see if there is any plagiarism that they can detect. It's gonna, the web search stays a Bing search. So how deep is gonna go? Are you going to be able to confirm? I cannot tell you yes. So you still have to work that differently. But you can try it out and see how that works and see, again, it's gonna keep evolving, it's gonna get better maybe at some point. All right. Another question? All right. Yes. Yes, either OneDrive or SharePoint. They must be on the cloud in order to reference them. Absolutely. You're welcome. But the examples that I was doing at the beginning, I was just referencing one JPEG file that I had it in my downloads and I drag and dropped it. But that's because it's one file. Yeah. All right. Let's take the time. Okay, 5 minutes left. So let's check out how to use Copilot to identify some trends. So let's go to here. I do have a file. Let's show that. Okay, let's go back to OneDrive to show you that file, or actually I have it in a different window. Here. I do have a file with some data in it. AI forecast, is that it? No, indicators of mortality. Here, indicators of mortality. I have all of this data. And I want to know the trends. So I'm going to ask Copilot, and of course, I'm going to reference this file, right? I'm going to reference this file and ask Copilot to identify trends. So my prompt is giving data in, then slash indicators. All right, that the file to select is at the top. So let's just go copy and paste the link for that. Copy. And let's paste in. So I believe it's just my browser that needs some adjustments. Okay, given the data in, and then I indicate my file. What trends? I'm gonna put it and read it then. What trends can you identify and what are the possible reasons behind them? All right. So it's going to indeed access the data in my Excel file. Could I have done that directly in Copilot within Excel? Yes, you can also do that there. I'm just showing off what Copilot Chat can do from the browser, from Teams, from OneDrive. Perhaps you were already on Copilot Chat, so rather than, changing apps, you just sending that request in here, but definitely you can do that request in Excel as well, in Copilot in Excel. If you're using Copilot in Excel, then you would be able to also create directly from their charts as well, pivot tables, and so on. All right, there we go. So based on the data, looks like these are the trends for mortality rates, right? And then possible reasons behind them, all based on the data that I shared. All right, you guys, we are out of time. We went through a lot of examples and we have 1 hour for questions. So we are open for office hours that we called. I'm going to stay here with my colleague. We can ask questions for all the room. We can have questions individually if you wish, and something people that are online, you can stay here and keep asking your questions in the Q&A. we still are online for the next hour to keep answering your questions. Now, I'm going to show before everybody leaves. So if you're looking into having Copilot license, which I strongly recommend, it's a nice tool to save some time and let you focus on your main job, have some tasks that are done by Copilot itself. So you have the QR code to scan to request the license if you don't have it yet. So it's going to send a ticket to IT, and then IT is going to process that. In addition to that, I have my other QR code just to see what are the different sessions that are left for this week. And you also have some learning resources on that webpage as well regarding Copilot. So thank you everyone for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that you learned something that's going to be useful for you. And hopefully see you in the next session. But please don't hesitate if you have any questions. Again, we're still here. Thank you. Yes. Yes.
Can you show me how, let's say I'm in a meeting, a Zoom meeting, Teams meeting, and I want to have the notes from that meeting.
For sure, I'm gonna show that. So I have a great question here. I'm gonna repeat it for everybody here. We're asking, if I'm in a meeting, how can I get the meeting notes automatically created for me? So let's see in Teams how we can get that done. Let me go back to my other screen. Let's bring back my user, Alex. And I'm gonna go to Teams on the browser, which, you can also be working with the Teams desktop application. You ask if can we do that in Zoom. We don't have the Zoom capacities here, but definitely when you do have the license with Copilot, you have the possibility to have those meeting notes created for you. There are two options for you, and I'm just going to take a moment to show that. It is one of the most fun features to use. It's taking notes for you. So you have two options. You have the possibility to use Copilot only during the meeting. So you can ask questions during the meeting. Maybe for some reason you don't want a recording or you don't want a transcription. So you have the possibility to only enable that during the meeting. And the other option is to enable that during and after the meeting. So you can get back to Copilot and keep asking questions to Copilot regarding that. So let's see what's the difference, how we can turn that on. I have multiple things open, so it is taking a moment. And we're going to go back to my old calendar. It's my favorite personal.
I have a tough question to ask.
Oh.
Florida is a two-party state for call recordings.
Mm-hmm.
What are the legalities of when you're doing transcription and it does prompt this thing is being recorded, but is that enough? Because you actually need everyone to say, I'm allowing you to record it for the AI.
Exactly. So the question is the little notification saying that it's been recording or transcriptive enough? No, you do have to have the confirmation from anyone. You must let everyone know that that is going to be recorded or transcripted, and you have to make sure that everybody is indeed giving the consent. You're welcome. All right, so let's start. Yes.
But in case that take notes, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be
Yeah. So I'll show you the two options. Yes. Okay, so I'm creating a meeting here. As a meeting organizer, you do have the access to the meeting options. So let's go to the options. So you can go to the options when scheduling a meeting, after the meeting, invitations has been sent, and even during the meeting. So right now I'm scheduling it. So I'm going to more options, and I have the Copilot and other AI available to me. So here is allow Copilot and other AI. So here's the thing. Only during the meeting. So nothing is going to be recorded when you enable only during the meeting. So it would be the best way to just in case, and it's not everybody that is consenting to be recorded nor transcribed. In that case, you would be using only during the meeting. you'd be able still in there to use Copilot, ask questions before the meeting ends up. Give me a summary, a meeting notes of the meeting. You copy this, paste it in your notes. And then when the meeting ends, that's it. No recording, no transcription, and no Copilot neither. So that would be one way. Let's say everybody consents. So you want to have during and after the meeting. I'm going to apply this. How does that work? It works with transcription. So whomever is speaking, they're going to be transcribed though. So I'm going to just save this. Going to go to this meeting and we'll see how that works. Maybe I'm going to add somebody in here, right? And put a title to this. So let's say that I'm doing transcription meeting. And I'm going to add J to this at least. Send update, and then I'm going to join this, and we'll see how we enable that. Right? I'm going to mute myself, otherwise it's going to be echo. Okay, so here, now I indicated during and after the meeting. Know that when you do record a meeting, it automatically comes with a transcription. Now here, maybe you don't want to record the meeting, but you only wanted the transcription. That's doable as well. When I enable Copilot, here it is. It's asking me, you know, Copilot you can have meeting notes, items, etc. Can I start the transcription? So that's what is Copilot using transcription. So I'm going to turn it on. I want to make sure that I indicate the good language, because you're speaking French and the language here, transcription is English. Now you won't be able to use Copilot because the transcription won't be readable, won't be usable. So you must indicate the correct language to be able to use Copilot. So confirm. Now here the transcription starts. Of course, I'm on mute, so nothing is being transcribed right now. I can ask my questions. Maybe somebody came in late. What has been discussed so far? Meeting is going on. What are the pros and cons of what Sam said? What is what are the questions that haven't been resolved, etc. All of that Copilot can answer to you because it's going to go through the transcription. It knows what's been happening. Now, if you are with the example that you want to use Copilot only during the meeting, it will be the same way. It will be the same right pane. And here, before the meeting ends, give me a summary of the meeting. It's going to provide that to you. Now, let's go to my example. I do have a recording. So let's go to that example. Let's end this. Yes, I'm going to end this. Let's go to my recording. Let's see if we have that in here or if I... Oh, is it this one? Okay, so here there is a transcript, I believe so. Let's see if yes or no. Otherwise, I'll find a different one. Okay, so here is right. There's a transcript on this. And here, this is a great example because this meeting was not recorded. It was just transcribed. So what I can do now is go to view the recap. Right here, I have my AI summary, right? My meeting notes are here. They're expendable. And that is automatically done. I didn't request any of that. It just comes with it. I even have my follow-up tasks. If I take a look, I have the transcript in here that I could go through. And because that's also, I was part of the co-organizer, I could download that. Otherwise, participants and so on, as the organizer can change the settings to see who can download, who can access, who can start and stop a recording type of thing. And in addition to that, I have my Copilot at the top right, where I can ask additional questions. Were all items resolved? Or maybe I want a summary with just 2 bullet points. Give me a summary of this meeting only in 2 bullet points in 25 words or less. All type of things. Not all items were resolved. The meeting discussed adoption, etc. And again, this is a conversation like any other place where I work with Copilot. I can keep with follow-up requests. Okay. Okay.
Before the meeting ends, I have to go to this place in Copilot and get the note, right?
Exactly. So I'm going to repeat the question. So for the people that are not recording nor transcribing, you must go indeed to do Copilot. Now, this is not a good example because it's starting the transcription, but let's say that we're not starting the transcription in here. Before the meeting ends, because you won't have a transcription nor a recording, you must come in here and ask it, give me a summary of the meeting. Now, I won't have a result. There's nothing happening in this meeting, but here it's where Copilot's going to give me the result. And then you always have this little copy possibility. You copy this, you paste it, and that's it. You have your meeting notes and summary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. Yes.
Students, and I'm trying to use the whole picture more.
Mm.
Can you walk me through like how Copilot can help me to organize like this calendar by using the poll?
The poll? Okay, let's see. Let's end this. So the question is that we're trying to schedule multiple people for meetings and we're looking into using Copilot for poll. Now, you could be using Copilot, for example, Copilot chat and list everyone here and find me times and schedules where everybody is available. That's one possibility. So if I go slash, I have people here, so I can reference people. So here I could have, give me a list of time slots next week, a list of 60 minutes time slots next week and then I put where Sam, Jay, and then Marcella, and you can keep going on and on, right? I'm going to put these 3 people are available at the same time. So since it has access, now I personally already have access to their calendar. I don't know what's happening in their events, but I just know that they're busy or not. Since I know that Copilot also knows that. So it's going to go through that and give me some options in here. You see, I checked calendars for next week, but I couldn't find. Looks everybody is available. It's asking me, do you want a shorter slots? Yes. Yes, give me a 30-minute slot options. Give me. People are busy. Let's make those meetings shorter. All right. Looks like nobody's available, unfortunately. When are all these people available at the same time? Oops. When are these people available at the same time within the next month? Maybe it was just too short notice. Oh, well, okay. All right, people are in vacation. Only one meeting was found. Okay, looks like there are not. Okay, so a lot of people available or not available. It does happen. Another possibility is to use Outlook as well. Outlook is also a great way. Perhaps there has been an email thread where everybody is in there. So you have a nice feature in Outlook, what is called Schedule with Copilot. It gives you a title that is suggested for a meeting. It gives you an agenda that is suggestion of an agenda. It gives you a summary of the thread. And also it gives you a available time slots for everybody that is in that meeting. So let's see who I have here. Let me see if I do have multiple people in an email to have a better example.
So you couldn't just start with like, let's say I'm and instead of going about it the old way of pulling up the calendar.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that is yes, very, very long. You can, of course, use the poll feature, but that means that you're waiting for people responses, right? So I'm just going to do that example with Emma. No. I'm trying to find that most of people are not sending me emails. They're sending me chats. So I'm just going to give something here with Jay. So you do select your email. Let's say that there's being a very long thread in here. There are multiple people, and then I'm going to try to find a better example in a different account. You have this schedule with Copilot at the top. So it's available in Outlook Web and the new version of Outlook. This is not available in the Outlook Classic desktop, so only the new Outlook and the web version. So what it does, when you click on this, it gives you a suggested title. Now it was an email in Spanish. It's giving me a suggested title in Spanish. It's putting everybody in the email thread in the required participants. It's giving me a moment where everybody is available. Always double check though. And then it's putting in attachment the actual message. It's giving me an agenda. Now it's very short. My message was very short, but I'll find you a better example in a moment. And then it's giving me a summary of the email thread. I can at any time as well go to the schedule assistant just to double check that everybody is indeed available in this time slot. So let me go. I'm going to go find a better example to see how great this tool is. I'm going to find an email with multiple people in it and have this example.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
As you're working on this and I'm also doing this, so there's a difference between the 365 that's online and the one that I have here.
In Outlook, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
Great question. I'm going to answer to you because it's indeed a very good question. Yeah, you let me go find you and I'll show you. Yeah, or you can come to me. That's great. So you're in the classic one. See, you have the try new Outlook. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah. So I'm here. This is the regular one that we do. Let's see this. So this is the classic.
Oh, the classic or new is only applicable for Outlook. So only the application Outlook has a new version.
Sue, it's here. She just helped me close out.
Yeah, so
yours.
No, that's the online version. I just showed it. This is.
yes, so that is exactly. So we're talking only about Outlook. There's no different versions for Excel. You only have one version Excel. It's either web or desktop. All right. So I have a great,
And then if I'm on the online version, is this the correct one?
yes, online only. Exactly. That's the good one. You don't have a lot of tabs.
Okay.
So what you're going to do, you select here let's just select something here. Now it's not showing because you're, maybe that one.
Yeah.
So what's happening here? It is, you do have it here.
Okay. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a better example. Here I have this email, right? Where I have a thread happening. So very long thread. So when I click this schedule with Copilot, instead of I giving a summary to this, giving an agenda to this, of course, I'll probably need to adjust, right? But I do have a great title. I have, again, the attachment, an agenda, because it took into context everything that we were talking about. Like, we need to review this, discuss X, Y, Z, and have the summary of the conversation. Now, in this email thread, of course, it's only the other person and I. But if there were multiple people in this email, I would have all of them listed in here. And it would be suggesting me a time where everybody is available. Now, I had a great question. How can I know this is Copilot? If this is the...
You get the schedule with Copilot.
Yes, so the schedule with Copilot only available in Outlook, the web version. If you're using the desktop applications, only available in the new Outlook. So how do we know if it's a new Outlook? Let me bring that up again. Give me one sec. I have to open this. Outlook. Since take a moment. All right. All right, let's go on. Okay, here it is. Now, how do I know if it's a new or the classic desktop application? Now, the easiest way to check that out, and this is only for the desktop application, is at the top right, you have the toggle. Try the new Outlook. So right now, I am in the classic Outlook, and I do need to turn the toggle on to put the new version of Outlook. So what does it mean right now? It means that right now, I don't have here my schedule with Outlook nowhere. So if I turn that on, it's gonna close and open in the new version. Let's give it a moment. And here we are, it's coming up. Now it's the new version showing up. Let's bring it here. And it's just, give me 1 sec. All right, I'm gonna bring this back. All right. So here now, the new Outlook interface looks different, but mainly I have my create a meeting request from this message with Copilot. So I have here my ribbon that is simplified. I can put my classic ribbon to see it, make it more obvious. It's scheduled with Copilot. Tell me. Oh, that's perfect because you're on the web, so that works. And you have that button only when working on the message area.
Okay.
Yes, because it's applicable on a message only. So if you click a message, let's say that you click this, let's expand it because sometimes since it's small, the classic ribbon. Here you go. Here it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes the monitor is too small, so we don't see everything.
Okay, yeah, I have.
Yes. Well, okay, I'm gonna ask this question. Now the question is, sometimes with Excel workbooks, when they try to read it on the mobile app, it is difficult to read. It can Copilot help in any way? Now, the only thing that I can say, and it's not regarding Copilot actually, is on the mobile, in order to read correctly, or the easiest and nicest interface will be with the Excel application, because you can read it from OneDrive, but it doesn't give you a great readable sheet. But if you do have the actual Excel app, which actually when you do need to do some edits, you do need the Excel app, it gives you a way more readable version. You're welcome, because indeed you can open it without the app, but you cannot read it well nor edit that. All right, you guys that are online, we are switching to a Teams meeting. You are all invited to go to that Teams meeting. Anna will share to the Q&A and she'll pin it at the top, the link to the meeting where we're switching. So that way you can actually unmute yourself. You can share your screen if you have any questions, any scenarios that you want us to look into. So I'm going to share right now at the very top the link of that Teams meetings where we're switching. We still have about 30 minutes where we can go through multiple questions in the Teams meeting itself. So I'm gonna get out of here right now, but Anna will be on this one before ending the session, and she'll share that link with you. So see you in the Teams meeting.